This is my speech one, and these are my notes that I have to speak from. When we think of civil rights, we think that they happened a lot longer ago than they actually did, which is not the case. The 60s wasn't really that long ago. So in the 60s, it was a vital time for the fight for civil rights for African American people. In the midst of fighting for their civil rights, the African American community of Birmingham, Alabama was rocked by the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing that occurred on September 15, 1963. For this speech, I have done research. I have read 2 books. While the World Watched, which was written by a survivor of the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing, Carolyn Maul McKinstry, and I also have read Bending Towards Justice, which is a book written by U.S. Senator Doug Jones. Throughout the speech, I'm going to be talking about what was the 16th Street bombing, what led up to it, also what the effects were on the community of Birmingham, Alabama. To cite Doug Jones in his book, he was just a boy when it took place. He remembered that it was in the midst of desegregation of schools, of public schools, and many white parents, white kids did not like the fact that African American students would be going to their school and that fight was taking place. So the Ku Klux Klan was very prominent at that time, and they were attacking black churches, black shops, black communities, places like that. And throughout this mess, this desegregation had begun to start. So they're like, well, let's bomb one of the most prestigious, prominent black churches in Birmingham, Alabama. This was the 16th Street Baptist Church. On September 14th of 1963, Robert Chambliss, also known as Dynamite Bob, constructed a bomb that would be planted under the 16th Street Baptist Church. At this time, because of the bombings, Birmingham, Alabama had become known as Bombingham, because it was in the midst of the civil rights movement, and there's a lot of African American communities in Birmingham. So it was basically a hot spot for bombings and situations like that, lots of racial violence. The bomb was planted September 14th, 1963, and it was set to go off during worship service on Sunday morning, September 15th of 1963. There were 4 girls. Their names were Denise McNair, Cynthia Morris Wesley, Addie Mae Collins, and Carol Robertson, all downstairs in the ladies' lounge, getting their robes on to help usher, as it was Youth Sunday. They were just, getting together, getting everything situated, when all of a sudden there was a boom. There was an explosion. And the church collapsed. In one instance, there was a stained glass window with a picture of Jesus, and only the face of the Jesus in the stained glass window was blown off. Well, after the explosion, many people heard the Reverend John Cross started digging and was compelled to dig through the debris. So he began digging through the debris, and he found the 4 girls lined up in a row, dead from the bombing. It killed only those 4 girls, but 22 more were injured, seriously injured, including one of the sisters of the girl, Sarah Collins, was severely injured. It affected her eyes. She was rushed to the hospital. All 4 girls pronounced dead at the hospital. Now, the effects that this bombing had on the community, there were more protests. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. got involved. In the book, not Bending Towards Justice, While the World Watched, Carolyn Maul McKinstry was there at the church, and she stated that FBI came to her house. It was just a trying time. Lots of people, lots of African Americans became more outspoken. After that, JFK sent troops to stabilize and calm down Birmingham, Alabama. Also, Lyndon B. Johnson, after JFK was shot, became president, and he signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964. In conclusion, it was in the midst of fighting for civil rights, the African American community of Birmingham, Alabama was rocked by the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing, and this would go on to affect the outcome of civil rights for them. In this speech, I have addressed what was the bombing and what the effects were that it had. So next time we think of civil rights, think it was not that long ago.
5 minutes and 13